Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder 2 Napalm's late news, because this is a couple of days late, but it's still exciting and important, and this is why I decided to make a dev blog. And for that, you will find the link to this dev blog in the description down below, as usual. And it's good news, it's big news, it's for me as a German guy and a German main, to be honest, really exciting to see finally the Mackensen. But it is an event ship in the upcoming Black Hussar event, and this is why we need to talk it through. First, I'll talk about the basics of an event, my recommendations for how to grind it, and then also we will talk about why the Mackensen is the last big thing coming for the German Navy in terms of capital ships. This is to be debated. I know the H-39 will also come, and this is interesting because then this will be the biggest caliber probably the Germans will get. But here we have a really interesting intermediate caliber that gives Gaijin so many opportunities to make this an outstanding ship, and hopefully they'll do, because this is potentially a good talisman candidate. So August von Mackensen was a war hero of the 1870-1871 war versus France, and yeah, therefore he got a ship named after him, which was not completed, not put into service, never saw action, and this is why this is probably most likely an event ship. And this gives Gaijin opportunity to fiddle around with the stats a bit more than they should do, like they sometimes do. So the event is from September 4th until September 2nd, 22nd. And yeah, you have to earn mission points in naval battles and unlock stages and get rewards. The outstanding part is here the intermediate caliber of 350 millimeters. The predecessor, the SMS Derflinger, a ship that I absolutely love, has 12-inch guns or 305 millimeters, and the ship coming after it, the Bayern class and the one battle cruiser that shall not be named, have 380 millimeter or 15-inch guns. And so this is the only ship that has this caliber, and we see something similar-ish with the British. I'll have a look later in War Thunder in-game itself. And there is a bit of history. By the end of 1918, it has reached 85% completion and then was scrapped in Britain, I think. Or no, it was still in Hamburg, I think. So yeah, she's actually also really fast with 28 knots or 50 kilometers per hour. And she has also those large 600mm torpedoes. Don't expect German long lances. This is still World War I-ish. Those are the same H-8 torpedoes that we'll find on the Bayern class. They are somewhat useful. They are roughly G7As. And yeah, you have 5 tubes. The Derfling, I think, has 3 tubes, so I guess that 1 facing forward and 2 per side, which will be interesting if you have a close encounter with a ship from a similar era that doesn't have anti-torpedo protection. So first of all, the looks of it. This is very much World War I style. We have a pair of super firing turrets in the front, and then a bit of set off here, like on the HMS Queen Mary, the Congo class, you name it. And yeah, I expect it to perform really well. So how to get all rewards? You have to complete the stage with 45,000 mission points. This sounds ridiculously high, and to be honest, it is, even though there are modifiers. So if you play realistic battles instead of arcade, there is a higher modifier, and also if you play higher ranks, at least rank 3, then you have an additional modifier. And the stages change every 2 days at 11 GMT. And so you have your interval of where you have to grind 22,500 points per day. In actuality, if you want to make it tradable, you have to earn more. So you have to also collect the rewards manually, and there are some other interesting things, including the discounts on purchasing stages. If you have completed them to a certain percentage, you get a discount, quote unquote, on the Golden Eagles. I think it's still a rip-off, but if you have a very tight time budget and you need to get up to go to school, university, work, whatever, it can help you. It's better than nothing. And then you have to collect 750,000 mission points over the course of the event, and I think that includes the modifiers. So with the modifiers, it's not actually 750,000 points, but it's still a lot, and that just to make it tradable. Since it is a really unique ship for me, but not for most of you, I guess that it will float around, pun intended, 20, 30, maybe 40 Gaijin coins. Over the years, it will probably rise in value, but that's a different discussion. And yeah, here we now have to go into War Thunder, and there you see the SMS Bayern, and that gives us the first chance to look at the torpedoes. So there you can see nearly 270 kilograms of TNT equivalent. The highest torpedo reduction on some battleships and modern heavy cruisers is 250 kilograms, so it barely breaches it. 6 kilometers and 67 kilometers per hour speed without the torpedo mode, and with the torpedo mode then you have the long range setting of the G7A, 14 kilometers, 56 kilometers per hour, and since you then can probably fire 2 of them per side, if you ever get into this situation. Those are fixed underwater tubes, by the way. Yeah, that is something to be actually remember, that you have this weapon. Let's talk about the Derfflinger. The Derfflinger is a touch faster with 52 kilometers per hour and has a belt of 300 to 260 millimeters. If you angle it, and if you consider also the barbette and the turret face armor, it's not that well protected, even if you have a turtleback, but it is surprisingly sturdy for such a relatively narrow ship. And a different thing that we have to look at is the 12-inch guns, because, and this is where the 350 millimeter or 13.8-inch guns get really interesting, because if you look at 10 kilometers you have, or 10,000 meters, you have a penetration value of 295 millimeters, so less than 300, and you have a bursting charge of 13.6 kilograms. You have a base fuse high explosive shell, which doesn't have that much yield, and you have a sap round, which has almost as much penetration as the AP, but less TNT, so it's a weird shell. And then if you go to the Bayern, and if you look at the 15-inch guns, then we can see that we have for the AP CBC round 378 millimeters of penetration. So for 3 inches more, we get roughly 85 millimeters more penetration at 10 kilometers range, but we kind of double the bursting charge. And we have then a big juicy sap round. Now, we do not have the 350 millimeter caliber for the Germans here yet, but the Derfflinger, together with all the other German ships that have 12-inch guns, has 20 seconds reload. The Bayern class has 26 seconds, and the Gneisenau, as you can see, for that 15-inch guns has a faster reload of 22.7, and this is also what I kind of expect for the 13.8 inch or 350 millimeters on the Mackensen. And this will be for 8 guns. And so if you look at the HMS Queen Mary, you also have 8 guns, and you have a similar-ish caliber of 13.5 inch. And if you look at the British 12-inch guns, for example on the HMS Dreadnought, you can see that we have 275 millimeters at 10,000 meters with a similar bursting charge than the Germans. Then we go to the in this case it's kind of World War II-ish with 475 millimeters. But if we go then to, where's she, HMS Barham with her World War I 15-inch guns, we have 394 millimeters with a hefty 30 kilograms of TNT equivalent bursting charge. And if we then go to the Queen Marys, back 13.5-inch guns, we can see that we have 350 millimeters. So I guess the penetration will be somewhere in the region of 330 to 350 millimeter range, and also quite a juicy bursting charge. But, and this is probably a very special thing for me, it's this round. And the British did not manage to recreate this round, which is a nose fuse high explosive, which still has one, if not the highest TNT equivalent bursting charges of any naval rounds. We exclude here the Sovietsky Soyuz's insane SAP round here. The British did not manage to recreate this on their 15-inch guns, even though they developed the 15-inch BL-42 Mark I from the 13.5-inch gun. They did not manage to recreate the shells or even upscale it. And so, with the Germans not having any sort of particularly notable high explosive rounds, this might be the chance to give the Germans something like this. But also here for the British we have, together with the Congo class with their 14-inch guns, we have decent AP performance, but we have 30-ish seconds reload. And with the Germans, with the faster reload for an equal number of guns, this might be great. I'm really not happy with the Mackensen being an event ship, but it was kind of inevitable if you think about it. It's a one-off ship, it was never really completed, so it's a project, and within the German tech tree it will probably go at 7.0 for 6.7. It might be a touch too good, but the interesting thing is that it will be a rank 6 ship, so it will be the second German event ship after the SMS Baden. And to be honest, with the Ersatzjork, we have those 15-inch guns, and we have here an armor belt of 300 millimeters, so considerably better than on the Derfflinger. But I did not manage to spot here a turtleback at all. There is an inner plating, which also will help, so you have an overall additional main belt of 360 millimeters. But the deck plating seems to be rather weak, and so you're very vulnerable to air attacks, because you also don't have any AA, including the Mackensen. Yeah, it's still World War I. So how it actually plays out, we'll have to figure out. At this point, it is too much guesswork, and that's it for me today. I'm really looking forward playing the ship, test sailing it for you guys, and giving you then all the interesting facts, or pointing out that it will be a dud. If it will be interesting, if there's something outstanding about it that makes it effective in War Thunder, it will be an interesting talisman candidate. And since, you know, the Gneisenau is a good ship, and, you know, has modern 15-inch guns and the torpedoes and Scharnhorst armor, it still costs $80, and that is really expensive. And I'm not quite sure if on the anniversary sales we will get a discount on those premium ships. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Mackensen, and I'll leave it at that. That's it for me today. Please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, let me know in the comment section what you think about the Mackensen being an event ship, if you will play the event, if you're looking forward to the Mackensen, and if you think she's worth grinding for, or if you wait for a proper price on the marketplace, if it will be a talisman candidate for you, if you share my optimism for the effectiveness of the 13.8-inch guns, and as usual, we will see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.